Hey beautiful people, how's it going? And welcome to a new video. So in today's video, we're going to be covering the 3.2 Balance Manifesto, Duels and Ailment Mitigation, the first of many from GGG. Now I have read this already, but since it's been released, there have been tweets and stuff that I've also seen. So I thought I'd give you a recap and just give you my thoughts on it. So first problem we have is that duels have modifiers that provide various forms of ailment avoidance or protection. However, because their current values are moderately low, you often need to stack several duels in order to have adequate levels of protection. So their solution to this is that they're going to be expanding the pool of mods available on magic and rare duels and making their modifier values more generous so that players have better access to sources of ailment mitigation with less investment. The regular duels, i.e. duels that are not abyss or cluster duels, now have mods that provide reduced duration or reduced effect for a wider variety of ailments than before, and abyss duels now have mods that provide avoidance of various ailments. So before we get started, I just want to say that I've seen the tweet for this, and rare duels are going to have up to 35%, and abyss duels are going to have up to 50%, which is quite a lot. Now, I feel like for rare duels, they're not really going to be used, because rare duels are just way too powerful for power spikes in your build, i.e., damage over time multiplier, stuff like that. You can get quad multi, life. There's a lot of things you can get on duels that are already really, really useful, and you never have an abundance of duel sockets on your build, which is one of the main issues with trying to get avoidance on your duels. So I don't really think it's going to be used on rare duels. However, abyss duels having up to 50%, which is a load, and now provide avoidance of various ailments. This doesn't specify elemental ailments, so to me, this implies that you're going to be able to get avoidance for poison and bleeding, which might be copium for me, but I think that's really, really good. So for instance, I play a lot of melee builds, which die very quickly to poison, because they always have negative 60 chaos res. So for me, if I was able to get 100% poison avoidance really early on, I would use a Darkness Enthroned and then just put 2 Abyss sockets in there, maybe with some Flat Fizz and some Life, and try and get Avoid Poison on there, which would then, protect me from any sort of poison damage on a melee build, which is going to be insane early. I would actually use something like that. So I feel like that has potential, but I do not think that rare duels are going to be used at all for any sort of avoidance. But I could be wrong. So, moving on. Okay guys, so next up we have unique duels. So many unique duels are not exciting to find. There are a few reasons for this. In most cases they are simply underpowered or apply to too narrow window of usage, or both. There are also many corruption only duels that don't fulfill a good purpose. So they go on to say that they've been hesitant to revisit these unique duels because they didn't want to remake them and then make them into a completely new duel. And they use Fireborn as an example of this, which is fair enough. So their solution is that we're making it so that every unique duel that drops is very rare and highly desirable. This wording, this usage of very rare and highly desirable scares me because with GGG, we don't know what very rare means. Like, is a casual player now going to be able to find these? I don't know. I mean, Ashes of the Stars and Omni also got made very rare, and that was a shitstorm. So yeah, not the greatest usage here. I don't like this. I'm scared of this. This means that many existing unique duels have been removed from the drop pool. Great. The intention is that now when you find a unique duel, it should always be a very positive experience. So we don't know what's been removed. They don't tell us what's been removed. Just many have been removed. So this kind of scares me because I was going to plan a league start based around one of the duels as well. So now I don't even know if it's in the pool. I guess I'll have to wait and see what's been removed. 2 that have been confirmed to still be in the game are Lion Eyes 4 and Inspired Learning, because Gremro tweeted about them and Bex replied saying they're still in the pool, which is good. So at least we know those are in there. So to help make duel drop special, we designed a set of new unique duels that are powerful chase items. That's cool. It's going to drop from the core pool. You can learn more about these in the upcoming expansion. Yep. So with that said, there were some unique duels that were still useful for a subset of players because they have build enabling modifiers. Other very niche uses like the Brute Force Solution or other attribute transformation duels. So instead of getting rid of these, we've made them corruption only unique duels. We feel this benefits for both players who want them, as players who don't, as generally players who don't want them won't come across them as core drops, and players who do want them can still actively pursue them. So what this means is if you have an attribute transformation duel, so i.e. Dexter Strength, you will no longer be able to get corrupted blood on it because it's going to be corruption only. So yeah, you won't be able to get an implicit. So this is a real big nerf to those type of builds, unfortunately. But at least they're still in the game, I guess. That's one bright side. But yeah, this is pretty bad. I don't like this. Because typically, when you're in an attribute stacking build, you're going to be using quite a lot of these. So that's a lot of duels you're not going to be able to get something like Corrupted Blood Immunity on, or RMR if you need it. So yeah, I don't like that too much. So some new build enabling unique duels can now be found from more deterministic sources throughout Path of Exile. So one is combat focus, which can now be obtained through a vendor recipe. Some of the build enabling jewels that affect golems can no longer drop, but they can also be found from a deterministic source. You'll have to figure that one out for yourself though, but it's not a vendor recipe, so we know that much. So it's good that they've at least thought about these things and still kept the golden jewels in there. I feel like there's still quite a lot of rare jewels that need to be in the game. Not rare, sorry, unique jewels that need to still be in the game because they enable a lot of builds. For instance, Seething Fury, if they've removed Seething Fury, Shield Crush and Spectral Shield Throw are essentially dead in terms of hit builds because now they won't have any multiplier. So I'm hoping that, you know, jewels like that are still in the game. Yeah, this one, kind of worrying. It could be okay, but the very rare thing does scare me with this one. Okay, guys, so the final section is that unique jewels will no longer be offered as quest rewards. Most of the jewels that were previously offered have been removed entirely, though some important ones have had their effects preserved in the form of new unique items or by being added to the pool of rollable jewel modifiers. Now, obviously, the big one is Conqueror's Efficiency, because a lot of people use Conqueror's Efficiency, so I assume Conqueror's Efficiency is going to be one of the important ones that's had its effect preserved in the form of a new unique item. I doubt they're going to make its effects rollable. So yeah, this will probably be a new unique item. Hopefully they don't put it on a piece of gear that's going to take up a valuable slot to the point where it's not worth it. But yeah, I don't really know what they're going to do for that. Another one of these items, another one of these jewels that's really important as a quest reward is actually Survival Secrets, which kind of makes the ward loot build, given that it gives a 20% reduced flask effect, so you basically get 600 ward from using that. So hopefully they're going to also preserve that. But aside from those two, I'm not too fussed. The other ones can be used, but they're not super important like those two are. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to jump the gun because I assume their effect's going to be preserved, and I am quite excited to see what they're going to put them into. But yeah, it's not great. The reason they've done it is because they feel like having a unique item as a quest reward, it undermines their feeling of uniqueness and prestige. I get that. Honestly, it does actually kind of make sense if you think about it, but yeah, it might not go down well with a lot of players who actually like to use those tools. But yeah, that's just about it. I mean, the first one, hit or miss. Honestly, it could go either way. We'll have to see the full notes. We'll have to see what's being removed, and we'll have to see what modifiers we actually have being put into the pool here. Because these have potential to be okay, or they have potential to be absolute garbage. So I'll be excited to see them on the full patch notes, but I'm not going to jump the gun and start getting angry about anything right now. But yeah, that's just it. I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Before I go, big shout out to my King Patreon supporters, Ascend, Multi-K, Nifty, Isaiah, Pandoxy, Gavin, and Stu. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.